Hello everyone, I'm Day Weather Meteorologist Don Day with your Public Lands Council weekly weather update for this January 21st, 2023. It's being brought to you by WSR Insurance Services Incorporated. Also being brought to you by Ag Risk Advisors. Boy, it's been a busy new year, 2023, starting off with a bang in the west, all the California storms, and then a big snow event across all of Nebraska. Good chunk of Colorado, parts of Wyoming, and into parts of the Corn Belt and northwestern areas of the Midwest. So we're really starting off 2023 with a lot of weather, and we see more coming. We have an active weather pattern across all of the lower 48 states over the next couple of weeks. We're going to see some colder weather. We're going to see snow in some areas that haven't seen snow in a while. We will see the West Coast get a little bit of a break. We're still expecting that the Pacific Northwest and Central and Northern California over the next couple of weeks will still see some precipitation, but the constant battering of storms into the West Coast is taking a break as things are changing a bit, and these changes are going to lead to colder temperatures for many through the end of January. So from this weekend through next week and into next weekend, a lot of the West will be colder than average. Some of the northern plains and into the Great Lakes will be getting colder, and some of that cold air will go into the southern plains as well. In fact, we're going to see areas of snow this weekend and next week. As far south as northern Texas, Oklahoma, getting into some areas into the Appalachians and pushing further south than we've seen for a while. So that snow is going to be pushed further south as the trends late January into February are looking colder. And the pattern is likely going to stay very busy. So livestock interests, you're going to have to stay on your toes as we really don't see any long period of warmer, dry weather, rather frequent chances of snow and temperatures more often than not that are going to be a little bit colder. You can see snow cover really increasing and pushing further south across the United States. And by the time we get into next week, we're going to see that snow line drop pretty far south into these areas here, while the snow in the west and across Canada will continue to accumulate. Speaking of snow, look at what happened over the last 7 days. Look at the moisture, badly needed moisture that fell in these areas here. If you look at the latest drought monitor, parts of Nebraska, parts of Kansas, northwest Iowa, in severe drought conditions. But we had some areas of central Nebraska right here that got over 2 feet of snow, closing Interstate 80 for several days. But there's a lot of silver lining with that snow. I know it's creating a lot of work and a nuisance, but boy, Nebraska needed it. So did northwest Iowa and parts of northern Kansas. I'm happy to report, and I'll show you in a minute, that this area here, which has been missing a lot of the precipitation, is going to get into the act. Still, the precipitation falling in the Rockies, the southwestern United States, a lot of snow down in Flagstaff, a lot of rain and snow in Arizona this winter so far. So all of this is really helping the snowpack and really helping things out. Now, over the last 2 weeks, you can see where the snow's fallen. Pretty extensive, especially here, as we just mentioned, but into the mountain areas as well. Now, for the month of January, a lot of you have probably said, it really hasn't been that cold, and boy, the data supports that. Only California here has had below average temperatures for the first 19 days of January. However, where you see these orange and brighter colors, temperatures have been above the 30-year average. The white areas mean near normal, blue below normal. We're likely going to see this configuration change, so we haven't been stressed much by any severe cold in January. However, as we'll show you here in a minute, things are going to begin to change. This is where we're going to start the forecast. This is the snow event that's going to be down into southeastern Colorado, Kansas, the Panhandles area, northeastern New Mexico. This system will head up into the Great Lakes this weekend with another system behind it. This is where the weather pattern gets busy. Now, this is by Monday. Another low comes in, and it's going to produce snow again in the same areas. So having these storms track a little bit more to the south will pull that snow line further south, but also bring precipitation to areas this winter that have been missing it. Southeastern Colorado, a lot of Kansas, a lot of Oklahoma and Texas. But those areas are going to get moisture, while there will be a bit of a drier trend here along the West Coast, at least for the next 7 days or so. Then as we go out to next weekend, notice if we go here, I want you to look up north, and you see that blue area up in Hudson Bay? See how it moves south and southwest? Well, that is Arctic air. wanting to push into the lower 48 and push westward towards the divide into the Great Lakes and Midwest. What this means is, in about a week from now, especially along and east of the Continental Divide, we've got colder weather. But really for most of the United States, the trend by late next week and next weekend is going to be colder than normal, with the area of coldest temperatures likely in this area here, at least relative to average. But we've got below average temperatures deep into the Gulf of Mexico. So this is a good push of cold air. We don't expect it to be record breaking, but it's certainly going to be enough to catch everybody's attention. And I do think it's a precursor for more cold weather coming during the month of February. So despite the map that looks like this of a warmer start to 2023, expect this map in a couple of weeks to look a lot different as we see the colder air pouring south into the region. Over the next 7 days, this is where the precipitation is going to be focused. Notice the heavier moisture here, which is good. They need it. And then rain and snow will spread out across the eastern and central Corn Belt into the northeastern areas of the United States. There's that break for California and the far west, really not seeing too much over the next 7 days. And this is what the snowfall looks like. Notice how far south that snowfall forecast is getting with the colder temperatures invading. And while we don't expect anything snow, the northern plains, the northern and central Rockies will have several opportunities for snow, just not a lot of it, but certainly colder weather coming in with this weather pattern. Have yourself a great week. We'll see you next Saturday.